Welcome, everyone. I'm Barb Chodas, President and Publisher of the San Diego Business Journal. More than ever, women must commit to supporting and empowering each other in order for all of us to thrive in our professional and personal lives. Women empowering women is essential to our success, and we hope that today's event inspires each and every one of you to do this, because our lives will be much more rewarding and fulfilling.
We're going to start by letting our panelists introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about why empowering women is so important to them. Then I'll ask a couple of questions, and we'll let them leave us all with one final thought.
It's a privilege to be here with extraordinary women, because I truly believe that it's extraordinary women that make the world go around. And honestly, my story is very personal, and so I'm ecstatic to be here and share it with you. I'm an immigrant, single mom, came to this country without knowing anyone, chasing the dream. And I am into my 5th company, being the CEO, this one, TOOTRiS, being the founder and CEO. And the only reason I was able to pull myself up by the bootstraps and get myself to a C-level position and then the boardroom was because I was privileged to have a structure around me that supported me, that guided me, that mentored me, and that really, really cared about my success. So the topic here is very, very, warm in my heart, and more importantly, it's at the root and the mission of TOOTRiS, providing every working parent, especially women that have been impacted disproportionately during the pandemic, with opportunity to get back into the workforce with peace of mind. So thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Outstanding. What specific actions can women take to truly support and empower women? And please share any specific examples of what you've done in your workplace to support women.
All right, so same question. So I'll tackle it a little bit differently, and I'll say that, while yes, we can't do this without all the men, wonderful men in the world, I really want to hone in on how women can help other women. And that starts in the home. That starts when you're born. That starts with the culture that you create and the value system that we have at home, so that little girls can grow up to be self-secure about their capabilities and their role in the world. So we need to talk to them, we need to read them books, we need to get them engaged, we need to get them involved from a very early stage, because the number one cause for women not succeeding in business is lack of self-esteem, or lack of security, or simply, hey, is this my place in the world, right? And so I think that as a woman, where I focus a lot of my energy is mentoring the little tiny girls that are in all those programs that help them thrive and help empower them and really enjoy that high that comes from achieving their milestones. So creating plans from a very, very early stage, creating checklists, and just having them realize that high that comes from achieving, number one. So it starts in the home. Number two, it starts at the top of every organization. But in order to create that synergy, you've got to create pressure from the bottom up. So you've got to talk about it. You got to make it important. You've got to be loud. You've got to say it's important to you. You got to talk to your colleagues. You got to get people excited, because unless you're able to create the pressure from the bottom up, the top won't respond, unfortunately. But if you can engage senior level executives, then it has to become an initiative with purpose, because lots of words and no actions lead to no results. So you need action. To enact action, there needs to be an initiative. GTSOP, get that paper, okay? I'm in technology. Sorry, I was beeping myself. I'm in technology, everything has an acronym, all right? So GTSOP it, you've gotta have goals, you've gotta have purpose. And then you have to make everyone in the organization be part of it and recognize the win for them. Because empowering women is actually a win for all. And unless we're able to document that and hear the voices of everyone, then we won't understand what their personal, professional, financial, and thriving goals are. And unless we have that well structured, it's not gonna happen. So lots of this, no action, doesn't happen. And lastly, care for women, celebrate women, commend women, and graduate women, because as a woman, we know that we're capable and we know that we can do it, but sometimes just that little bit of celebration, telling each other how wonderful we are, what a beautiful family we've created, what a great promotion we've just had, or hey, just giving each other a little of security. Hey, put your name in the hat for that position. You're the best. Because guess what? Men never care whether they are qualified or not before putting their name on the hat. And 9 out of 10 times they get the job anyway, right? And I've got a great story, true story. I lost a VP position because I was so afraid I was just not qualified, and the guy that got the job was less qualified than me, but he was bold enough, to your point, to put their name in the hat. So speak up, be loud, certainly starts in the home, starts from the top down, create pressure from the bottom up, and make it happen. GTSOP it.
GTSOP it. Outstanding. All right, next question. What do you think the barriers have been to getting women to support each other, and how do we overcome those barriers?
The barriers. Number one barrier is that women by nature, our DNA is that we are caregivers. And while there are different cultures that expect women to stay home and care for the kids and or the husband, that's, I feel, beside the point. The point is that 2.5 million women dropped out of the workforce in the last year alone, not because anybody told them to stay home and take care of their husbands and children, but because they made the decision to do so because the crisis was at such point that they felt that they had to step up and do that. So it's in our DNA. And that's okay, because guess what? Women don't have to be the same as men to succeed. And we don't have to compete with men to succeed. So one of the most important barriers in women succeeding is that at times we catch ourselves trying to compete to be better and or equal to men. Well, guess what? We are extraordinary and we are so different by DNA. So find your strength, recognize your weakness, and leverage from your strength, mitigating from your weaknesses. You've got to have a personal strategy. One of the number one questions that I get asked in every forum, hey, Alessandra, you're a woman CEO, PE-backed 5 times. How does it feel to be a female CEO in a predominantly male industry? You want to know what my number one answer is? I don't know, because I've never thought of myself as a female CEO in a predominantly male industry. I feel like a damn good CEO and the best CEO there's out there. And I've been able to build organizations from the ground up that men have failed at, but not because they were men and not because I'm a woman, but because I have unique strengths that I have leveraged. So another component to why women don't succeed and the barrier is think of yourself as an athlete in one of my favorite sports, which is track and field. And you know why it's one of my favorite sports? Because you compete against yourself. You're always trying to top your last best record. And you're not looking to anybody else. You're clocking yourself and you're going, and you're conditioning your body and you're staying focused on your strategy and you're positioning yourself to be better every day. Let's take on that kind of mentality to your point. Thinking differently is thinking outside of the wheelhouse and the hamster wheel that keeps us doing the same things over and over again and not getting ahead. Jump out of the hamster wheel, think a little bit different, mark where you are, know what your goals are, and start measuring yourself instead of looking over your shoulder to see what man is ahead of you or what woman is or not ahead or behind you. Focus on yourself. Wi-Fi, another acronym. What's in it for I? I'm a firm believer, okay? I'm a firm believer that you need to be in a good place before you can help others. Kind of like the mask in the plane. You put on your mask on first. Because if you don't, you'll faint, and then you can't help your little ones or the granny. And then you become a burden. You faint, and you become the burden. So in business, another barrier is that we're all kind of trampling over each other to try and help each other. Worry about yourself first. Get yourself to a really good place. Get yourself to a position of power. Get yourself to a position where you have a voice, and then extend your hand. It's kind of like that barrel of monkeys, I like to say. I grew up with a little barrel of monkeys. They were plastic. They had one hand up, one hand down. Life is like that, okay? We always need somebody's help, and once we get to a place, we should extend the other hand to bring someone up, which brings me to the third barrier. Women hate to ask for help because we are super women and we can multitask and we can do everything. You know what? Just like women have certain DNA, men have also their very unique DNA, but the one DNA that we all share as human beings is we love to help. Barrier to break, that barrier is so easy to break. Ask for help, raise your hand. I used to go to my boss and say, I want you to help me become the vice president of sales. You have to help me better understand how I have to position myself, because guess what? In life, just like in real estate, it's location, location, location. In life is triple P, P to the cube, which is positioning, positioning, positioning. So you have to learn how to ask for help, because asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength.
Yes. One last thought you want to leave the audience with.
First and foremost, if you're having a bad day and you need a little kick in the butt, I think you need to call Alessandra. I know I will. But that wasn't my final thought. It just became my first final thought, so thank you.
For me, being that my story has everything to do with being a single mom, and now being in a position of power after having put myself in that Wi-Fi mode, it's all about empowering women to get back into the workforce. And for me, that is, they need to have peace of mind, and we know that women are the caregivers. And so in order to enable that, you need to start in the first 5 years of life. Children develop 90% of their brain in the first 5 years of life. And due to the lack of access and affordability to childcare, 90% of children that need to be in an early childhood education program of quality don't reach their maximum potential as it relates to their developmental milestones. And that's where it all starts. Little girls need to role play at that age. They learn who they are and what their place in life is. And so therefore, as a community, we have to recognize that investing in women starts at birth, investing in women starts in early childhood education, and investing in women means that they need to have the liberty to be at work with peace of mind that their family is in a great place. When I founded TOOTRiS, I did so wanting to reinvent childcare, making it convenient, affordable, and on demand for everyone. And I truly believe that that is the backbone of how we're going to change this world. So thank you.
Excellent. Krista?